And we should be live now. And for everyone that's been waiting, we had a little bit of issues with the internet, but we're pretty good. And welcome to another episode of Everything Outside Code. And today I have a wonderful founder, Solomon Eseme. Solomon, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, hi. Thank you for having me on the pod. My name is Solomon Eseme, and I'm the founder of a lot of startups, but mainly I'm the founder of Mastering Backend.
Yeah, that's great. I guess we're going to learn about mastering backend in a bit. But as usual, we're on this podcast on this stream to talk about the business bits of, shipping a product and getting it out to market. The stuff that a lot of technical founders struggle with, but good enough, some are pretty great and successful at it. So I think we can just jump right to it since we have about 30 minutes. You could just tell us about mastering backend. What's the URL to it?
Yeah, yeah, Mastering Backend, it's just masteringbackend.com. And
Yeah.
if you go there, it's pretty much a blog, actually. But what happens
Hmm.
is the idea is to basically try to train people or train backend engineers to become great backend engineers. So that's the mission. But if you go
Hmm.
there, we present you a kind of a homepage with a blog. You scroll down a little, it takes you to where you can deep dive into backend engineering. And from there, you tend to explore more about the angle of backend engineering. And if you are interested in learning more, then you can option into our academy, or you can join our platform. So we have a learning management system that we have videos, projects, and challenges that you can do to become a great backend engineer.
Yeah, that's interesting. So why, first of all, how'd you get this really nice domain name? Because I would assume like a lot of the really popular um tutorial platforms and MOCs would have snagged this by now. How did you get masteringbackend.com?
Yeah, in terms of it wasn't that hard. I just so it was actually from I have a friend that is the founder of Adonis Mastery, right?
Hmm.
Adonis Mastery. So I was like, okay, I want to talk about mastering backend, and there's front end masters. So
Yeah,
why is the master always at like the last instead of being at the beginning? Because if
yeah,
somebody is trying to become a backend engineer, the person is trying to master backend, right?
yeah.
So I just came up with okay, mastering backend, and then I went to check it up online and it was available. I just got it. So it wasn't like somebody got it and left it or pre-sell it or something. It was just all
Yeah.
free and I just got it as cheap as possible.
Yeah, that's interesting because you have like for the keyword master backend development, you have like
Mm.
the number one spot there. That's very valuable.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so basically I'm just looking at it and I thought, why backend? Did you pick backend because you're a backend developer? What's the history behind that? What's the motivation leading up to that?
Yeah, in terms of there is a lot of history actually on mastering backend. So I am a backend engineer, no doubt, but that wouldn't actually be the reason why I'm doing mastering backend. Okay, so I've
Okay.
always liked to write online. I've actually
Okay.
owned a lot of blogs, up to like eight, if I can remember all of them.
Eight
so
blogs. Like
yeah,
you
so,
wait. You own eight blogs or you've written eight
so
blog posts. Like own them.
I've had eight blogs before now.
Wow.
So I've
Wow.
even done
That's interesting.
local news blog or stuff. And mastering backend seems to be the most successful, right? So I've owned
Mhm.
blogs like Code Like Mad, Latest Niger News, Niger Newsy, plenty of those kind of blogs. And
Yeah.
right now I actually have like three or four different blogs that I manage. But let's talk about mastering backend. So
Mhm.
mastering backend, I wanted a place where I can go to get backend engineering resources, right?
Yep.
Now, in my career as a backend engineer, I started off learning a lot of things. So you see me jumping from pillar to post, from front end to WordPress to trying to become a full stack and all of this. The reason is
Hmm.
because there was no structured learning for anything online as of then. I started developing around 2011. So there was no structured learning. Now, they may, but maybe I don't have the resources to find them because, of course, you know
Yeah.
how 2011 in Nigeria would be
Yeah.
like. so so I had no resources to find them, so I couldn't find a structured place or a kind of a platform or a center where I can go, and all they talk about is the one thing that I want to learn. All right.
Yeah.
I ended up just jumping from these resources to that resources, and that actually scattered my way of learning. But eventually,
Yeah.
after spending like 4 years in the industry, I got to discover that I really love backend and I want to pursue that as my career, right?
Yeah.
And after doing that a bit, I started to say, okay, there was no structured way for me to learn. So why not I create one, right? I know I
Yeah.
don't know a lot, but
Hmm.
I know how to write the little I know how to write. So I can actually help structure these things and kind of have a central place where people can learn. There is one for
Yeah.
front end masters. So there is none for back end, right? So
Yeah.
why can't I be that person, right? And that's how
Yeah.
mastering back end actually started. So I started as a blog. So my blog
Yeah.
content was different because I
Hmm.
don't just write lots of how to. I don't write how to guide, except now that. But what I do most is ultimate guides. So you notice that I will pick a particular framework, for example, Laravel, and then I will try to break it down from as if I'm taking you through a journey, like you don't know
Hmm.
anything about Laravel. And then I'm
Yeah.
introducing you to Laravel, and then I'm taking you through a journey where you can now start building your systems with Laravel.
Hmm.
That's how I structured the Ultimate Guide article. And it tends to make a lot of sense, right? Because it's a very
Yeah.
long article. It's a very
Yeah.
long
It's
article.
going to be really
So
long.
that kind of ranks on Google almost like every time. So there was a time we actually got the top spots on Google search for different keywords that we wanted to rank. So with that, I started having more ideas on how, because people started jumping into my newsletter and a lot. So I started having ideas on how to actually try to bring these people to become great backend engineers. And that is what we are
Hmm.
kind of looking forward to doing now. There are many channels that we tend to do that through books, through video, and through academy.
That's amazing, and I'm it's interesting because the problem you mentioned that you realize that's something common, right? There are a lot of resources, tons of resources on front end development. You breathe twice, someone is teaching you how to build a Next.js app. You blink, you're seeing like even if a new framework comes out tomorrow, there's already like resources uh on how to like use it and learn. But for backend, I think it's different. At least I don't see that much, right? There are
Yeah,
very few resources, and it seems like the more you start to move towards the backend operations, business logic side of things, the less resources you find. So DevOps even probably has a lot less, and
yeah.
like
So,
SRE has nothing. Going down that
so
rabbit hole.
So I think I discovered that there's a major problem with the reason why that is there. Like people don't know that backend engineering is actually separate, right? So people think that backend engineering is the entire software engineering stuff because it is, right? You cannot really separate
Mhm.
it. If you want to separate software engineering, the only two things you separate it with is front end. Everybody talks about front end. It looks totally different from software
Mhm.
engineering. Please, for
Yeah.
those that are listening, don't quote me wrong. But there's kind of a distinction. But when it comes to backend engineering, it kind of looks like it is software engineering itself. But software
Yeah.
engineering is a lot, and we need to have a specific gate where backend engineering stop, and then
Yeah.
DevOps continues, right?
Yeah.
And then front end continues. So if
Yeah.
someone says I'm a backend engineer, you are looking at the person as somebody that is going to build the backend system and then also maintain the backend system. You
Yeah.
understand? But that
Yeah.
maintaining part and the scalability part of that backend system
Hmm.
is now being handed over to DevOps people because they are
Yeah.
going to look at how to actually make it available, how to make it
Hmm.
scalable, and all of that.
Yeah.
Backend engineers can learn
Yeah.
that, but I'm trying to see a way that backend engineer only focuses on the business logic of this platform, right? If you
Yeah.
have a system, this is what the system is going to do, and that is what I'm building. And when I'm done, I'm
Yeah.
going to build it in a way that is scalable, right? Right? Application level scalability is your job as a backend engineer. But when it comes
Yeah.
to that high end scaling, let's just move that to DevOps people, because there's
It's to
now that.
DevOps. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's why people
Yeah.
don't actually talk about backend a lot, because
Yeah.
there's kind of a mixed, should I say, a mixed career that software engineering is all about backend and business logic and deployment and stuff.
Yeah. That's interesting. Let's talk about the shiny business bits, right? So you're competing with everyone creating like tutorials on backend development. You're competing with like large MOCs for mastering backend development, right? You're competing with freelancers that are teaching backend development. All the blog posts that that talk about master backend, because I see you're like number one,
Mm.
aside from like sponsored
Post.
sponsored posts and keywords on Google. How did you get there? Did you make a conscious effort to rank number one, or did this just happen because you created a lot of backend content and you created those ultimate guides you talked about?
Yeah, so the truth is, I've never really seen all those people as competitors. it's, it's just now that you're talking
They see
about
you
it,
as competitors.
right?
Yeah, like
I don't
I'm
really
sure
look
like
at it that way.
folks when
The way
they
I look
write
at
like backend posts, they come across like your your website number one as like, yeah, we need to like unseat these guys.
really, like, I've not seen it that way, right? So for me, I don't see me as the number one actually. So I see these people as the people I'm learning from, because they've been in business for a long time. I'm just a one person business that is trying to grow, right? So I learn from them actually. I look at
Mm-hmm.
what is trending now in the industry. Okay, there was a time Laravel is still trending, but there was a time it was really, really trending. I just write the blog
Yeah,
post about Laravel because I learned it and I know it and I can teach it. So that's
yeah,
my model. You know this thing, why not share it? And then
yeah,
when I write about it, is more beginner friendly down to a point where experts can actually use it. And I think that's
yeah.
the reason why it ranks. So I don't
Okay.
really sit down to do any SEO stuff because I'm a developer, so
Yeah,
I'm not an SEO
great.
expert.
Yeah. I think I once heard Chris Savlea say something similar. He's the founder of Scotch that sold to Digital Ocean. And basically, I think he started Scotch at the time just from writing PHP content, right? A lot of like from what he's learning and like building, he's just writing without thinking about like SEO. And just from creating that many content, it just brings like it brought a lot of from views to the website to a lot of friends that and people he met in the community. So
Mm.
it seems like I need to start the PHP blog and start talking about what's the hottest new framework I can jump on to start ranking for. I don't mind.
Yeah, so that's how I always work actually.
Hmm.
When I mastering back, I don't. People will see mastering backing as a big business. It's not a business to me. Oh. To me, it's not a business, right?
Okay.
It's like where I just post articles that I'm writing,
Okay.
right? So that's what I
Yeah.
look at it as. It is a business from the outside, but for me, it's not like
Yeah.
that. So I don't do like conscious efforts to rank. No, I don't do
Hmm.
that. I
Yeah.
don't do conscious efforts to make people want to sign up to my newsletter. I don't do that, right?
Yeah.
Or buy my course or join the
Yeah.
academy. I don't
Yeah.
do those extra efforts. I just believe
Mm.
that there is always a developer that is having issues learning a particular framework that I know, right?
Yeah.
And there is no other person that is going to teach that person. Of course, there are plenty of people. But I take it
Yeah.
upon myself that I am going to be the person to teach that new guy. And that's why I
Yeah.
keep writing. You understand? And I
Wow.
write in a way
Yeah.
that as if I am the one beginning the journey. Right? So I write
Hmm.
that way. And it has been very
Yeah.
helpful actually. Okay. And the person reads it because the person reads it and the person gain value, right? And the person is always going to want more tutorials as he's starting his
Yeah.
journey, assuming the person is a beginner. So the person would definitely want to maybe subscribe to my email later so that the person can get more value. Even if the person is an expert, there's a point in the article that the person might not know or might not know exists, right? Maybe it's one. So that is already value
Hmm.
for that person. And the person would want to jump
Yeah.
on all things that I do. You understand?
Yeah.
So this is my thought process actually when it comes to
Wow.
mastering back. And in terms of
Yeah.
marketing, because I think that's what we're talking about. I
Yeah.
now that
Marketing.
this year, right, I started to say, okay, let's make it a business somehow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I do is I actually created the learning management system on
Hmm.
Mastering Back. I've not really launched it out, but
You
I think I have like
created.
yes. So I'm
Okay.
a developer.
Yeah. So you built one because
Yeah,
some
I
folks
built
would
one.
like either like buy and like throw it in because they want to focus on the business. But it's interesting
No,
that you built one yourself.
no, yeah, I built one because there's a way I wanted it to look like. So I
Okay.
can actually start describing the features, but I think there will be a session for that. So
Yeah.
because I have that and I want people to actually join that and learn, the main thing is
Hmm.
gain value. So I started because I am also a developer. I'm not a marketing person, so I don't know how to do much of SEO, much of paid ads, all those stuff that marketing people do. But the only thing I
Hmm.
know how to do is engineering as marketing. Do you understand what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So I build lots of products that are similar to what a developer would want, and then
Hmm.
I promote mastering backend in it. I don't know if you
Aha.
understand.
So you basically you build a lot of like free tools that developers
Yes,
could use, and then in
yes,
them you promote mastering backend.
yes. So that's where you picked
Ha.
up get backend jobs.
Oh, that makes sense because indie hackers do that, but for like SaaS products. So you have
Yeah,
like a fintech product, then you build like a free invoice generator that would then
yeah,
pipe traffic. But it's interesting to see that the end product here isn't it? Is mastering backend sort of like a SaaS product now that they can
yeah,
someone
yeah.
can
So master
subscribe
backend is
to?
yeah, exactly. So like I said, I'm going to describe the features later. But since you've asked, it
Mhm.
is like a SaaS product now, so you can subscribe
Mhm.
monthly for it, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. So you build something like get backend jobs. So someone tries to find backend job, you know,
Yeah, the
at least
person
that's
is
even a
already
good
is a
sign.
backend person, and the person would want to learn
Yeah.
more. So that's the
Yeah.
idea. So on the homepage, there is learn, become a great backend engineer. That is already
Hmm.
ringing in your head. Okay, if I want to
Yeah.
get this job, I need to become a great backend engineer. And
Yeah.
then you come in.
You might think, all these rejection letters might mean something. Maybe I need to actually go and learn. I
Yes.
need to, I need to learn and stop getting rejections, and then they fall into mastering backend. So
Yes.
that's a really good model. So does this mean that while you're building, mastering backend and you're making it better and you're creating like the courses and the learning materials there, you're also building like adjacent tools that
Tools.
are basically like marketing to drive like pipeline for you to mastering
Exactly.
backend? Is that what's happening?
That's what is happening. So I also have like a code playground. I know that people always like online code playgrounds, right? They can
Mm-hmm.
quickly just instead of just setting up development environment on their local system, they can quickly go online and just check their code, maybe just do console log something, something, and then get the result, right?
Mm-hmm.
So also build that.
Yeah.
Because it is
Wow.
developers that are going to use it. And these
Yeah.
developers may not really be looking for back-end training. But once they are there
Mm-hmm.
and they are there for like 2 minutes, they will like kind of see you can become more
Mm-hmm.
back-end enhanced person or one advert that
Yeah.
talk about how you can learn back-end better. They will
Yeah.
go through it. So I also have
How
that
much
tool.
effort? I was going to say, how much effort does this require? This has to be a lot of work, right?
Okay, it could be a lot of work for someone that doesn't know how to code, but for me, it's still work, but it's not like a lot the way you want to stretch it.
No, that's a good way. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, because I'm just thinking if someone else wants to like replicate this model for whatever they're
Mm,
doing, and they want to build like small apps to feed like a main app, how much effort can they expect? Because anyone would think, oh, this is going to require a lot of work to spin up some app. Because if that app is going to be functional it's full stack. You need to manage it. You need to manage the front end, the back end. If you're
Mm.
lucky, you get like tons of traffic, to that app, and the app is free. So does this mean that the cost of setting it up also has to be justified?
Yeah. So the ones I've built, right? The only thing I actually spent for get backend jobs is the domain name.
Okay.
The domain name, and I'm using Firebase. So I don't. Before I can get to a point where Firebase starts charging me, I would have had companies post jobs, and that would have actually just covered the bill
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, that's true. So how does get backend jobs, like how does that work? It's a can someone just like anyone can post like a backend job there, or they have to like
Okay,
sign
so
up
you
and
can.
pay? Is it monetized?
Yeah. So the way it works is this. First, I had a problem when I was in the market of looking for jobs. Everybody, we've been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one problem that I had was going through different websites that talks about
Mm-hmm.
software engineering jobs. And then once you
Yeah.
are there, you start filtering the ones that best suits you. For
Yeah.
me, I'm not looking for a front end job. I'm looking for a back end job. So I have to filter. Now, I have to do that to over like 100 sites and then apply to them also at the same time. So that was
Yeah.
really a thing for me. So what I did
Mm-hmm.
was create a kind of a bot that does that for me automatically and just send me mails every day for the
Yeah.
jobs that actually suits the filtering process that I've put in place, right?
Yeah.
And that was very easy. I just open my mail and start applying to jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to convert that bot into a website, and that's where you see mastering backend. So every
Yeah.
day there's like bots that goes to like I think now we have like 10 different sites. I'm actually adding more and filter all these jobs and just filter only backend jobs. Sometimes it
Six.
makes
Yeah.
mistakes, yeah, but 98% of the time it works. So it just gets
Mm-hmm.
the backend jobs and then display them for you. So every day you see new jobs to apply for, and then you apply. It's that simple. But
Yeah.
companies can post jobs at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can post job for free, but if you want some kind of features, like if you want to be featured for 1 month, like at the top page, you want to be featured for 1 month, there's a
Mm-hmm.
cost for it. If you want to
Yeah.
add a company logo to your job, uh, whatever, to your job adverts,
Mm-hmm.
there's a cost for it. But if you don't want all these things, you can just uncheck them, and still post for free,
Yeah. I
right?
need to be free. Huh.
Yeah.
And could you give like some insights, maybe a range of like how much traffic this drives to
Yeah.
mastering
So
backend?
I actually started it. Okay, it's not up to 2 months, but let me say 2 months ago.
Huh.
In the last 30 days, I've had like 12,000 people visit the site. So
Wow.
in the last, yeah, I don't know if you saw that. I tweeted that today on Twitter.
Oh, I haven't been on Twitter. I'm super busy today. I hadn't checked. Oh, wow. In 2 months.
Yeah.
Because again, how did you get the domain name getbackendjobs.com? How are these domain names still available?
Yeah, they're
How
actually
do you
available. So I didn't. Yeah, I didn't have to pay anything. It's just $10 for
yeah, because I
the
mean it's
domain
get
name.
backend jobs, but if you search for get backend job, this is like one of the top like results you would get, which is interesting.
Yeah. So for
Yeah,
that one,
I
I
searched for
actually.
get backend jobs. It's number one as well.
Oh, really? I haven't really checked all
Yeah.
this. So actually, during my journey as an indie hacker, right? Just somebody building plenty
Yeah.
products. There's something I picked up along the way. There's something they call programmatic programmatic SEO. You understand?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like the normal SEO that we have to do H1 here,
Yeah. Yeah.
repeat keywords and stuff. No,
Mm-hmm.
it is you using programming to kind of create thousands of pages from your website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me give you an instance. If you go to getbackendjobs.com, normally, right, each job has tags. Like this job is
Hmm.
for Rust developers. This job is for PHP developer. Now, PHP as a tag is already something that somebody will search for. If you look at it, somebody
Yeah.
can say, I want to search for PHP remote
PHP
jobs
jobs. Yeah.
or PHP jobs. So why
Yeah.
not create a page, just a simple page that lists
Yeah.
all PHP jobs, and then you give
Yeah.
it title that somebody is going to search for.
Yeah.
And you do this
Wow.
automatically by just generating these
Hmm.
pages, right?
Yeah.
So I did that for Get Backend Jobs, and let me check. That gives me about 1,000 pages, right? Like 1,000 pages of different
Hmm.
tags that people can possibly search for, right?
Yeah.
And that helps in terms of the ranking also for
Yeah.
Get Backend
And
Jobs.
all the content for this like programmatically generated pages, are they
Yes,
unique, or
they
this
are
is
they
a
are unique.
combination of like different keywords?
No, so what happens is um, they are automatically generated actually. So
Okay.
if you click on that PHP tag, so what
Yeah.
I do is to just query my database for all the jobs that has PHP tags and display them.
Hmm.
That, not,
Yeah.
that is programmatically. That is sorry, that
Yeah.
is automatic.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
So
it
I didn't
is.
have to do work extra. It's just me query my database for whatever you are searching for. In fact,
Yeah.
if you actually search, if you actually search, that is going to be another page. All right. So if you
Yeah.
come now and search for PHP, all right,
Yeah.
plus JavaScript. So let's say like someone like me, I'm a PHP and JavaScript developer. So if I'm looking for a job
Yeah.
right now, I'm going to search for PHP and JavaScript
Yeah.
jobs. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going
Yeah.
to make that a page. I'm going to make that a page and
Yeah.
display the job. So there will be like plenty other people searching for PHP and JavaScript jobs. So that is
Yeah.
going to automatically rank somehow because
Hmm.
I now know that there are people searching for that jobs. I'm going to actually attach like
Hmm.
maybe remote PHP, JavaScript, remote backend jobs, PHP,
Hmm.
JavaScript jobs or backend jobs.
Yeah.
I'm going to automatically just generate this page. If you are using Vue.js,
Yeah.
it's just one
Hmm.
page with
Wow.
query, like your query to different things that people are searching for, and then
Yeah.
turn it into a page.
This is interesting because there are folks, freelancers in people's DMs, in my DMs, that are like, hey, we're going to help you with like programmatic SEO. We'll help you be successful with it. Right? It's supposed to be this really huge thing, right? It makes it so complex. But I guess it's not as much. I don't have a SaaS product, right? So I haven't experimented with programmatic SEO. But the thought as an engineer thinking about it, it sounds um pretty straightforward. And from what you say, it works.
Yeah, it works. I actually have 180, 1,800 and something pages on my website.
Wow.
Now, I don't know where this, I cannot visit all these pages actually. I don't know where they are.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Right?
just know that they exist. They're on your
I
sidebar.
don't know from Ahref that there are pages like that. I don't know where,
Yeah.
I don't even have the links to them, but they were generated
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah. Wow. That's definitely interesting. And I look at the page, right? The design isn't world class. It isn't like, it's like, do you care about that? Or it's like, it works. That's it.
Yeah, so design is good, right? For me, the way I approach building products is I'm not trying to build $1 million company. You understand?
Yeah.
With one product. Now, even if I
Okay.
am trying to, that is going to take time. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a
Yeah.
1 year thing. So why not do
Mm-hmm.
it incrementally? Do you
Yeah.
understand? Like you're kind of
Yeah.
planting something and then you're watering it
Mm-hmm.
one after the other. Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing I always do is I push products to the users first, and then the user
Yeah.
gives me direction on where to go.
Okay.
Do you
So
understand?
yeah, yeah. I have a follow-up question, which is, everyone says this. Everyone says, I give it to the user. I listen to
Mhm.
the user. How exactly? do you push it to the users and then get feedback from them?
Okay. So I have another product that I created recently. It's a directory. It's
Okay.
called boilerplatesearch.com.
Wow.
So it's just a directory where
Yeah.
there's something trending now, like SaaS boilerplate. SaaS boilerplate. You've not really been on Twitter. So that is what is trending now. So there are people
I know
that
that.
create
I've seen.
there are people that create lots of boilerplates. If you're a
Yeah.
developer, that's what you call scaffolding, like
Yeah.
create React app. You
Like
get to
create
create.
React app or yeah,
There are people
React
now
New or
selling that.
something.
Yeah, there are people
Yeah,
now selling
I've seen
that.
I've seen a lot of it. I'm hoping. I've so far I've been expecting someone to build a boilerplate for building a boilerplate marketplace.
So I actually have a boilerplate marketplace and a directory where you can list all your boilerplates. Now I
Wow,
just
like
built that
you're
website
five
in one
steps ahead.
day. I built it in one day. It doesn't
Mhm,
have a backend. Does it have? Okay, so I'm actually using Nox content as the backend. I don't know if I can
mhm.
consider that as backend.
It's like
So
CMS.
yeah, all the boilerplates are MD files, like Markdown
Mhm.
files, and then I all read from there and display.
Okay.
Now,
Aha, I see.
I want to give you an example of giving it to the user and then watching how they interact with it. So when I built it, right, as an indie hacker, I have a list of 100 places that I can share my product. 100,
Mhm.
right?
100.
Yes. So
Mhm.
I pushed it there. I can't really exhaust the 100 list. So I
Yeah.
pushed it to the ones that I know I can. And people started interacting with it, right? And then somebody said, I cannot filter by free ones,
Yeah.
right? It was filter, but it wasn't working.
Yeah. Oh.
It wasn't working. So someone said,
Yeah.
I need a way to filter by free boilerplates. I didn't have something like that. So
Mhm.
I added it. Someone said the filters are not working. I went to make the filter to work. All right.
Mhm.
So this is it. If I've been like, okay, let me finish everything based on what I have in my mind, let me finish it before actually pushing it to the users. I'm going to
Mhm.
delay, like I'm going to take time.
Yeah.
Okay. And the urgent cash that I needed, because I actually needed urgent cash, the urgent cash that I needed from people that will be adding their boilerplates, I wouldn't have had it because I will still be building it right now. I'm making
Yeah.
everything perfect as a developer mindset. It's good to have
Mhm.
that when you are working for a company or when you are building a project that you know is going to give you millions tomorrow. All the
Yeah.
scalability things are good because you have multiple users, right? But if you are
Mhm.
building simple one feature systems. You don't need all
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
time to make yourself
Yeah.
perfect, to make your product perfect. Just push it. Users are going to direct you on what to do next. All right.
Yeah.
Now, before I didn't have something like featuring your boilerplate there. All right. But someone said, how about I feature my boilerplate because we started seeing some traffic, right? How about I feature it so
Mhm.
that it stays at the top
Mhm.
of every page? I have to go and
Yeah.
add that. You understand?
Yeah.
So this is how you listen to customers' feedback and improve the product, right? The
Mhm.
design, you can check it out. The design, I don't know if it's fine. I just got some templates and then used it to build that. So it's not like
Yeah,
I,
it
I
looks
did.
similar. Oh, did you get a boilerplate too? It looks like I think you
So,
have a boilerplate. You do have a boilerplate internally because
yeah, I have
boilerplate search and get backend jobs, they look alike. It's just one is light mode, one is dark mode.
so I actually have a boilerplate, right? That I used to build
Yeah.
products. And
Is it for
recently,
sale too?
yeah, I put it recently. That was like 1 week
Oh,
ago. I put it up
okay.
on the website and started to try to sell it too. So,
Hmm.
so that's it. So the boilerplate for me, I've always favored Nox.js as a developer,
Hmm.
right? Because Vue.js is the only front-end framework that I know, aside from the ones I use for documentation. I'm also a documentation engineer. If you ask me about
Oh,
that, I'm
great.
going to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So aside from the other documentation tools, but Vue.js is my number one. I don't even know React. I haven't used that before,
Mhm.
right?
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
I favor Node.js in all
Yeah.
ramifications. I
Hmm.
actually know it to a certain point that I can deliver projects very quickly, both front end and back end. So some projects I don't have an external backend for them, like Get Backend Jobs doesn't have.
Hmm.
Boilerplate doesn't have external backend. So I'm working on Get Rust jobs. I'm working on Design Body for design jobs. So all these things doesn't
Hmm.
have separate backend, right? But
Yeah.
they have backend within Nox. You understand?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right, except
I
mastering
see.
backend that has an external backend with GraphQL.
Yeah.
That's a lot more.
Yeah. Mastering backend looks like proper. This is properly done. Yeah. It looks properly done. Well, from what I get, what you say is first, I think the most important point here is that you build some sort of like a distribution pipeline for your product. Because you mentioned you have like 100 places you share the product once you've built it. That's something a lot of people do not have. It's
Okay.
usually when they build something, they just make a social media post or they pray to product hunt gods and then hope that they get something from that. um, but you seem
Um,
to like you have like a number of tens of places to share what you've built. It could be communities or even
yeah, yeah.
individuals that are always ready to give you feedback. So that's very, I think that's priceless.
Yes, it is actually. And another thing is before I like before I write any line of code on any product, I would have tweeted about it like 5 times. So I would
Okay.
have created like maybe Canva image or something, just tweet about it a lot. And then each day I talk about what I am building. That is what building in public is all about, right? So each
Yeah.
day I like if I add one line of code, I talk about that stuff.
Do you share MRR
About
screenshots
it.
too?
Yeah, and screenshots. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, when I was building the learning management system for mastering backend,
Hmm.
I used to tweet about it every single minute. The things I'm building,
That's nice.
what I'm
Yeah.
doing, like where I am right now.
Hmm.
And that actually, the truth is that, right? Maybe because of the number of the followers that you have, you might not really have people that are ready to pay, but you have people that are
Yeah.
ready to check it out. That is very important.
Yeah.
Those people that are ready to check
True.
it out are
Yeah.
important because at that stage you are building, all right? You
Yeah.
need those people to check it out what you are building.
Hmm.
They are going to
Yeah.
tell you if it's good or not.
Yeah.
You understand?
That's true.
When I was
That's
building
right.
get backend jobs, right? I had
Hmm.
a waiting list, and it gets to 500 people that were waiting because I talk about it even when I've not written any line of code.
Wow. So you had validation already to go ahead
Yes,
and build it rather than
talk
just
about it
because the
every.
average person would be like, I want to build a job board today. They start writing code for it. When they're
No,
done, they
no,
share it.
no,
Nobody. They are the only ones posting jobs and asking people, do you have any job? I've, I've actually been a victim of that. The first thing one of the first projects I ever did was building a job board for beginners. Um,
no. Mm,
and then I realized after a while that I didn't need a job board for it because first it was too like cumbersome to
mm,
maintain. Uh, I didn't spend a lot of time on engineering. I figured if I get a freelancer that would just do what your crawlers do, just get a freelancer, pay them for a couple of hours each day or each week.
mm.
They will go and find all the entry level jobs and post
I'm
them
both.
there. Yeah, and post them on the page.
Mm,
But that's a lot of work to start with. That's a lot of work. Retention was like poor. So people, first of all, I realized that people were not actively hiring beginners,
you know.
right? So we didn't get like the organic traction of someone going to post jobs by themselves there. And this was after what, like 6 7 months of running it, right? Right now I kept it on. At some point I had to like take down the website because I wasn't actively like talking about it like you are,
Mm,
sharing it. I took down the website and I figured, okay, people wanted to get these jobs. What's the easiest way for them to get it? It was a newsletter. So I'm like, okay, if you want to get this job, subscribe to the newsletter. We'll send you these jobs every 2 weeks. I don't need a website because I cannot even manage that. And even with that, now figuring out like conversion from that and like testing it out because I haven't been, involved with it like you are. It's just been there. Right now, I think it's more of a CSR project. It's like me giving back to the communities, helping
Yes.
beginners find jobs. That's it.
The thing is that for get backend jobs is I had somebody that wanted to buy it for for 12,005, that's dollars. And it was very difficult for me to actually agree because get backend job actually is not a product that I want to make money from. Of course, if the money comes, I'm going to make. But it's more like I mentioned, engineering as marketing for
Mhm.
mastering backend. You
Yeah.
understand? So if someone
Yeah.
takes that away, simply meaning that the person has taken away one marketing channel from
Stream.
me.
Yeah.
And
True.
that's going to hurt, of course.
Yeah.
But I had that buyer. The deal didn't go well, but I wouldn't actually be selling.
Yeah.
All right. So
But
so so that's it.
that's
And
ballsy.
another thing is that it is backend that I do. So I
Mhm.
have an audience of backend people following me up and down.
Yeah.
And recently I have been collecting jobs from people, my friends that wants to hire and posting it, and I've been having tons of people applying. So when I just
Yeah.
have a job board, it's like solving my own problem. You
Yeah.
understand? So that is
Yeah.
one.
It's sort of yeah.
If you want to build a SaaS that will make you stick, you want to share it every time. You look at
Mhm.
solving problems that you have, first of all.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Solve the problem that you have. And that's going to be very helpful in the long run because it gets tiring for you to keep promoting, keep promoting, keep promoting. It gets tiring,
True.
no doubt. Right. But if it is something that you know that I can't stop promoting my get back end jobs because it
Yeah.
is a marketing
Yeah,
channel
it's
for it's a
for
marketing
what
channel
you
for
actually what where you get money, what
for
feeds
my
you. Right.
business. And at the
Yeah.
same time, it is me helping people that are following me. So
Mhm.
how will I stop
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. That's interesting. I'm sure someone listening now is like 12.5 for a job board. They're going to make one. And indie hackers do not even get up to $5,000
Okay,
by
let
selling
me
their
shock that
projects.
person. Let me shock that person. The budget of that person was actually 50K. I didn't know.
50.
Yes, I didn't know
Wow.
until the deal went south. That's when I knew about his budget. He wanted to buy
Wow.
two, so 50K, 50K
Yeah.
for two.
For two boards. And now that you say it, I guess like when you have the digital footprint for back-end jobs, all these
Mm.
guys that you do not recognize as your competitors are willing to pay top dollars to get that footprint, like to own
Okay,
it
okay.
from you. That's what it means.
So like, I
Wow.
don't like sharing this, but I had someone. I would have mentioned the company, but no. A company. Okay, my direct competitor. I now
Yeah.
know this person is my direct competitor. I don't recognize them before as competitors, but they are now for mastering backend. They wanted to buy mastering backend actually.
Mhm.
Like they've
So for
sent
how
me
much?
mail. The deal was for 50K. Then I was actually looking for 100K, but the deal was 50K.
Wow.
Then I had no the learning management system. It was just the website,
Yeah. Yeah.
just the website, no learning management
Just the
for 50K.
website.
Yes. If you go to
Wow.
Mastering Backend, it looks like a blog. It's a blog actually.
For
You know?
50K, are you
Yes.
hiring?
I'm
Would
not
you-
hiring anybody.
I can come and work for you.
Right. So they wanted
Wow.
to do that. I didn't reply the mail because I
Mhm.
actually know I can share the mail if you want to see. I actually know what mastering backend can actually be. I'm actually a
Mhm.
lazy person that doesn't want to focus on it full time,
Yeah.
but I know where it can be. the ideas I have, let me talk about the reason why I started to build my own learning management system. All right.
Yeah.
It's not just about having courses there. You understand? There's a problem
Yeah.
in learning. And that problem, right now, there's a problem in learning. And that problem is unstructured content. You
Yeah.
understand? If you want to become a backend engineer now, where do you go to learn it? As a beginner, the first thing that people will tell you is that you can go and learn it on YouTube. Definitely, you go
Yeah.
to YouTube. But you can't become a backend engineer just by using YouTube. Because
Yeah.
in fact, you'll be confused which one to learn, right?
What to
That
start?
is that is the problem of unstructured learning. People just push
Yeah.
out videos, right? They push out course. A collection of videos. They push out course, but they don't take you through a step-by-step guide, what to do after the next thing, right?
Yeah.
That is one of the problems that mastering backend. If you want to become a backend engineer, that is one of the problems
Mm-hmm.
that we are solving for you. We want
Yeah.
to have a structured way of learning. If you want to
Yeah.
start from here, because we've been in the industry, we are going to move you
Yeah.
from that point to the next point that you need to be.
Yeah.
You understand? So we have courses, but these courses are arranged into roadmaps. You understand?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
One of our courses there says become a Node.js backend engineer. You
Yeah.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
That is a roadmap that takes you from the things that you need to know in JavaScript to actually become a Node.js engineer. It's not everything you need to go and be learning in JavaScript. So that you don't waste your
Yeah.
time and become a front-end JavaScript person.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yeah,
Before
that's
you
true.
discover that,
Yeah.
oh, I want to become a back-end engineer with JavaScript. There
Yeah.
are key things, even on Node.js
Mhm.
website, there are key things that you need to know in JavaScript for you to start your back-end journey. All right. So we
Mhm.
cover that, and then we move you to the core concrete concepts that you need to know in JavaScript, like testing, Dockerization, containerization, design patterns, all these different things that you need to know as a core backend person. And then
Mhm.
we teach you how to
Yeah.
implement them in
Yeah.
JavaScript for the JavaScript
Uh-huh.
roadmap. So that's already solved the problem of unstructured learning, right?
Yeah.
Now, another thing that we introduce in the platform is
Is your internet frozen? I guess the I guess the internet served us this long and decided to pack up. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, we lost him. But why we wait for him to come back? Because I need him to finish this story of mastering backend. This is really interesting. Does anyone in the comment have questions? Yeah, definitely. He's dropping ridiculous gems, man. These are some of the things that I didn't know. I didn't know was possible. I mean, I knew you could build these things and you could sell them, but not for this much. And something like Get Backend Jobs, it's 2 months with this much traffic. Yeah, he said he should have sold for 50K. What are the questions? Keep like you can ask them.
yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. We're waiting for
All
you,
right.
man. Everyone's waiting for the jams.
Okay. So what was I? So for mastering backend, right? There is project. Now I discovered when I was starting that if you are starting off as a backend engineer, you're going to have issues because you would want to
Yeah.
build projects and you
Yeah.
will want to present these projects to your people that is going to hire you, your employees, or interview
Hmm.
or whatever. Kind of have a portfolio that shows that you're a backend person.
Yeah.
Shit.
Mhm. I think we can take your question now, Satoshi. Are you the real Satoshi or like the other one? And yeah, to your comment where you said he should have sold for 50K and cloned the site again. Well, I guess with some of these things that I've seen, there are usually clauses in the agreement to protect buyers from this because I mean you have the know-how, you can do it again. They would most likely ask for like maybe 3-4 years of forgetting what it's called. But basically for 3 to 4 years you cannot build the same the same product again. Except in some cases, there's this guy I know on Twitter that's built dating or community apps a couple of times and he just keeps like washing them over and over again. Uh, in that case, I don't know what his contract said, but sometimes stuff like that can happen. He said, can he add LN auth? Is this LinkedIn auth? So it's not just Google. Let me see. Okay.
Have,
Yeah. You're back
have, have to
and
be like this.
outside. Yeah. Yeah. This works, man.
All
Um,
right.
Someone asked a question. He said, can you add LN auth like to your authentication? So it's not just Google. I assume this is LinkedIn
LinkedIn.
authentication. Yeah.
Okay. I will. Thank you
So
for
you
that.
so you get one user feedback,
Yeah,
pushing it
that's
to
how
the
you
users, remember.
get I will. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know someone asked that I could have sold for 50K and rebuild.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
it wasn't LinkedIn, it was Lightning Authenticator. So I guess it's like like either it should be Web3 or Web5 related, but it sounds blockchain related. Like,
okay. I haven't done that before. We just have to do research.
yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
he asked like he said you should have sold for 50K and cloned the site and started again.
no, it doesn't work like that. Number one, the domain name is gone. That's actually the most important thing. You understand?
Yes.
The domain name is gone, and you have to. If you clone it, looks like a copy. You're not original in the face of users, right? So,
Yeah.
so a lot of factors actually, but there are
Yeah.
businesses that you would have, and that would be a good deal, right? Like someone wants to buy boilerplate search now. I can I can easily sell that because that doesn't have any
Yeah.
connection with whatever I'm doing. You understand? It's just for
Mm,
boilerplate search, just quick a quick
like
startup that I can't
capitalization
even
on
call that
like
startup. Yeah.
problem you see. So
Yeah.
anybody out there that wants to buy boilerplate search, please you can cut me my 10% referral fee or whatever it is you
Yeah,
want.
it actually started generating revenue in case you want to know. It's not much, but
Oh, so yeah, so it's revenue generating. It's not just code they're getting. They're going to get probably like some. Is it one-time payment or it's recurring?
boilerplate
Yeah.
search for a person to add boilerplate, you can either pay $19 to skip the queue that we have, or you can there's
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of things you can check and check and check and check to be able to make your boilerplate stand out. Like you can pay
Yeah.
$10 to add it to a popular category. You can pay another $10 to add it to trending category. You can pay, I think, $200 or $400 for us to write a detailed review of your boilerplates, whatever, and then publish it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's great. You're milking the programming as marketing. you're, you're really pulling it on well. That's great.
Yeah, so I think I was talking
Yeah.
about some of the features of mastering backend.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
you
yeah,
were
so we
talking
talk about
about projects.
project,
Yeah.
right? So when I started out, right, I actually suffered because I didn't know how to build. I didn't like CSS and
Mm-hmm.
HTML and the front end thing.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for me to build the front end and then build the back end for the front end to consume. right?
Mm-hmm.
I can just build the back end, but the front end will be like me struggling. I see a lot of people
Yeah.
fall into that because not everybody likes front end. They just want to be able to build their backend systems and expose the APIs. That is what we do now. That is what happens now. But what if, first of all, you can have a system where there is a project? For example, let's take example. We want to build Payday. You want to build Payday as your practice project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to mastering backend, there is Payday project. But in that project, we have already created the front end for you, right? We've already done the consuming of your APIs, right? And then we give you a project requirement document that states what you need to do and how you need to present the endpoints. You
Yeah.
understand? And then you go in, do your database design, build your APIs, and make sure that your API endpoints follows the pattern that we've laid out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you submit your base URL, automatically we the front end that we've already built for you is going to start working because if it follows the pattern correctly that we
Yeah.
specify in the document, so it's going to start working. And you see that you have one project that you have built as a backend engineer, and then at the same time
Yeah.
you also have content that you can share with a potential employer. You understand? So
Hmm.
that's one of the problem that we are trying to solve.
Yeah.
You know that is going to help backend engineers actually build
Have
projects
proof.
and
Yes.
have proof.
Because yeah, a lot of backend developers do not have the amount of proof front end engineers have. Because front end developers, you can build like interfaces, you have something to share. You have a
Yes,
portfolio with like nicely designed presentations of like, your project. But for a backend engineer, you cannot just, I don't know if you just list the endpoint you built or you put the projects and then you have to list like what endpoints or put swagger links and how that would work. But as you say, that would definitely give people proof, right? They can
yes,
share an actually like working application that
yes.
they've built. So that's great.
So there are
Yeah.
lots of other features, but these are the reasons why I decided to build my own learning management system instead of
Hmm.
using the ones that are out there. So I guess yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's good justification then, because the experience you want, this is a very unique experience, right? It's bounded on proof rather than just teaching. And I guess it also
yeah,
comes from the world where, as a backend engineer, as you said, looking for jobs, you want to show a potential employer, this is what I can do. Um, Before even taking an assessment, before even having a chat, you want to be able to show something, and that will help them do it. So anyone that's out there looking to learn backend development or get better at it, I guess you know where to look. You need to look at mastering backend. I'm just going to pin the link here. Um, but this has been a wonderful chat, Solomon. I'm glad we made this work. We almost didn't get to have this conversation, but this was
yeah.
this was
I have to be
very eye
outside
opening.
for it to work.
Yeah, we've seen three backgrounds now today.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this was great. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. And yeah, he's right. Someone in the comment said Satoshi said this should be a course for most schools. These are some of the things you do not learn, but as an indie hacker, I guess you you pick them up for sure.
Yeah, I have to because you have to pick them up if you want to kind of get to users. Getting to users is actually
Yeah.
difficult, guys. Like
Mhm.
it's difficult. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about posting your stuff on Twitter and hoping that people react to them. I'm talking about paying users, right? People that actually pay
Hmm.
you to use your tool. It's actually difficult. So you have to pick a lot of lessons out
Yeah.
from anywhere you can. Okay. So I
Hmm.
have a tool, Contenter, that didn't do well, right? It's supposed to be a portfolio builder for technical writers. It didn't do well, right? Because that was my first SaaS and I was starting it out. So I spent like 1.5 years building the product.
Wow.
1.5 years building the products, building all the templates and all of that. I had 0 paying
Yeah.
users.
But you got lessons. You got like thousands
I
of
got
lessons
lessons.
and good
Yeah,
stories
I got
too.
lessons.
You got great stories out of it.
So
Yeah.
now you have to
That's
learn a lot to be able to market.
yeah, that's great. Anyways, thank you so much for coming on the stream. I totally appreciate this. And for everyone that stuck around, Idris, Satoshi, thanks for coming on and contributing. And yeah, let's all have a wonderful rest of the day and see you next week on everything outside good. Cheers.
Thank
Bye
you
bye.
very much for having me.
Yeah.